My name is Yasser Naeem, and welcome to the final part of my senior project. In the first video, we explored how addiction changes the brain. In the second video, we saw how addiction affects everyday life. Now, in this third and final video, we're going to talk about recovery, what it takes to fight addiction, the struggles along the way, and the science behind healing. Let's get started. A very common myth is that addiction can be easily cured like an illness or a broken bone. But this is far from the truth. The thing about addiction is that it is actually a chronic illness. This means that addiction can be managed, but it doesn't just disappear like a common cold. According to the National Institute on Drug Abuse, or NIDA, addiction is treatable, but it is not at all easy. Anyone struggling with addiction will relapse multiple times, even when they may be clean for months. The key to recovery is a constant battle, and no one-time fix exists for addiction. Beating addiction is a lifelong commitment where someone must hold themselves accountable, be self-aware, and seek help from those around them. Recovering from addiction is never just about stopping use of the substance. This is because so much of an abuser's life is negatively affected from the start of their addiction to the end. When recovering, you must rebuild a life for yourself mentally, physically, and emotionally. Key steps to the recovery process are acknowledging the problem, seeking help, managing withdrawal, long-term behavioral changes, and preventing relapse. Acknowledging the problem is the most important step. How are you going to overcome addiction if you can't even accept that you have one? If you have an addiction, you need to accept it and acknowledge it. It's the first and most crucial step in recovery. It often includes facing uncomfortable truths and understanding how addiction has affected one's life and relationships. For seeking help, there's many types, like rehab, treatment, medication. Recovery typically requires professional help, whether through rehabilitation centers, outpatient treatment, or therapy. These resources offer support, education, and guidance to help individuals understand their addiction and learn strategies for overcoming it. For managing withdrawals can be physically and emotionally overwhelming, so managing it properly with medical supervision is essential. Medications, therapy, and support networks can help ease withdrawal symptoms and reduce the risk of relapse during the critical phase. Long-term behavioral changes. Recovery isn't just about stopping substance use. It's about changing behaviors and thought patterns that fuel the addiction. This involves building new routines, learning healthier coping mechanisms, and improving self-discipline to prevent falling into old habits. For preventing relapse prevention focuses on avoiding triggers, creating a strong support system, and having a plan in place for tough moments. It involves ongoing therapy, support groups, and building resilience to face challenges without turning back to substances. One of the most helpful things for someone struggling with an addiction is trying out medication-assisted treatment. Beating addiction was never about willpower, as it is a neurological process that is extremely challenging to break. The medications can help a person beat addiction by stabilizing brain chemistry and reducing cravings. Common medications used to beat the addiction are methadone and buprenorphine, naltrexone, and antidepressants and anxiety medications. Methadone and buprenorphine are medications commonly used to treat opioid addictions. Methadone is a long-acting opioid that helps manage withdrawal symptoms and reduce cravings, while buprenorphine is a partial opioid agonist that also eases withdrawal without producing the intense high. Both are used as a part of a larger treatment plan to help individuals stabilize and gradually reduce their dependence on opioids. Naltrexone blocks the effects of opioids and alcohol by binding to the receptors in the brain that substances would normally affect. It helps reduce cravings and prevents relapse by making the use of drugs or alcohol less rewarding. Antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. Addiction often coexists with mental health issues like depression and anxiety, which can trigger substance abuse. Antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication are prescribed to help stabilize mood and reduce the emotional distress that often accompanies recovery. Taking these medications doesn't guarantee anyone's recovery, let alone they aren't enough for someone to beat addiction. But when pairing them with support from loved ones and therapy, a person can get a very good shot at beating addiction. As we mentioned in the first video, addiction quite literally rewires the brain, and this makes it much more than a physical problem. Addiction is also a psychological problem, which is why abusers should get therapy to retain their brain, to leave the bad habits behind, and adopt good habits in their place. Therapy is one of the most important but neglected parts of recovery. Many people think that they can beat it on their own and choose not to ask for help, which is a big mistake. Types of therapy used in addiction recovery are cognitive behavior therapy, motivational interviewing, and group therapy and 12-step programs. Cognitive behavior therapy is one of the most effective therapies for addiction recovery. It helps individuals identify and change negative thought patterns and behaviors that contribute to substance use. By teaching coping skills and strategies to deal with triggers, CBT empowers individuals to make better decisions and build healthier habits. Motivational interviewing, or MI, is all about having open, non-judgmental conversations that help people explore their own reasons for wanting to quit. It's designed to help individuals work through any mixed feelings about getting sober, making them more likely to commit to the process. Group therapy provides a space where people can connect with others who understand what they're going through. Sharing stories, struggles, and successes creates a strong sense of community. 12-step programs like AA or NA take a step further, offering a structured path for recovery with support from others who've been through it. A big reason people tend to relapse is that it's very challenging to cope with stress, triggers, and emotion. Therapy is a great tool that helps people to cope with these challenges and break the cycle of addiction. A very integral part of beating the cycle of addiction is relapse. A common misconception that many drug and alcohol abusers face is that when they relapse, they think they have failed. They think that they are stuck in a never-ending cycle. This is completely wrong, because relapse is very common and a part of beating addiction. According to NIDA, 40 to 60% of people in recovery will relapse at some point. Again, addiction is a chronic disease and not a common cold that vanishes within a couple of days. A couple of reasons for relapse are triggers and stress, overconfidence, and lowered tolerance. Stress is one of the most common causes of relapse. Situations like work pressure, relationship problems, or emotional distress can make someone feel overwhelmed, and they might turn back to substances to cope with those feelings. Triggers like people, places, or even emotions that remind someone of their past use can reignite cravings and lead to relapse. Overconfidence. After a period of sobriety, someone might feel overconfident, thinking they've got their addiction under control. This can lead to risky behavior like social drinking or using in moderation, which can quickly spiral back into a fully blown addiction. Lower tolerance. After a period of sobriety, a person's tolerance to substances is lower. If they relapse, they may unintentionally take more than their body can handle, putting themselves at risk for overdose or severe withdrawal symptoms. 3 solid ways to prevent relapse is to have a good group of people that support you, sticking to therapy and medication, and avoiding high-risk environments. Recovery can be a lonely journey, but having a group of friends, family, or a support network who understand and encourage your progress is key. Sticking to therapy and medication. Regular therapy and staying on prescribed medications are vital parts of the recovery process. They help address the root causes of addiction and provide strategies for managing cravings and stress. Avoiding high-risk environments. Certain places, people, or activities can increase the temptation to use substances again. It's essential to avoid these triggers by staying away from places where drugs or alcohol are present, or people may encourage or normalize substance use. Relapse never means someone has failed. They must stay determined to beat the cycle. It can be a good reminder to adjust your recovery plan, but never a sign to give up. What does life look like after addiction? Many people describe life as a new start to life or rebuilding everything from the ground up. Key parts of long-term sobriety or finding a new purpose, keeping healthy relationships with those you love, self-care and mental health, and helping others as someone helped you. Long-term sobriety often involves discovering a new sense of purpose. This could be anything from focusing on career goals, pursuing hobbies, or connecting with a new community. Having something to look forward to or work towards helps keep someone motivated and prevents them from falling back into old habits. Keeping healthy relationships. Relationships are a key part of recovery. It's important to surround yourself with people who encourage growth and positivity while distancing yourself from toxic influences. Self-care and mental health. Taking care of your mind and body is crucial for staying sober long-term. Regular exercise, healthy eating, and sleep are important, but so is taking time for relaxation and mental health care. Help others as someone helped you. One of the most rewarding aspects of recovery is giving back. Whether through support groups or volunteering, helping others reinforces your own progress and strengthens your commitment to sobriety. Recovery doesn't just end with quitting the use of drugs or alcohol. You must also create a meaningful life without the use of them. Here's the thing about addiction. People do recover. It's not easy, it's not quick, it may feel impossible, but it is possible. The brain heals, the cravings fade, the memories stop controlling you, but recovery is a journey, not a destination. Every single day is a step towards the right direction, and you can't let your guard down for a second. I cannot urge you enough to choose abstinence. Surround yourself with good people. Even if you think that the people won't influence you, they will. As many times as I have hung out with people and I think that they won't influence me, they go on to influence me. People influence you. Your company influences you as a person. It's better to be alone than to hang out with people who are going to push you in the wrong direction and get you stuck into this cycle that is so hard to break. When you use substances like drugs and alcohol, you channel all your inner energies, all your good energies you can use towards studying, reading, helping people out there, exercising, and you take all those good energies and you channel them in the wrong direction. You have all these good energies inside of you that you should be channeling towards the right direction. You have the ability to do good in the world. You have the ability to use all these good energies and do better stuff with it. You should not be looking towards addiction. You should not be looking towards drugs and alcohol. Thank you for watching my senior project series on addiction. I hope this helps shed light on what addiction really is, how it affects people, and most importantly, that recovery is possible. If you know someone that's struggling, reach out, find support, and never give up. I want to give a really big thank you to Mr. Michael McLean for helping me complete this series. Thank you all for watching.